Well, it's a fine sunny Sunday and I need to drain the pressure accumulator and do a weekly maintenance run for the genset. That rice crop seems to have progressed a lot since last week. Things just leap out of the ground around here. Yes, the rubbish pit there. I might bring a fork down and fork some of that over a bit just to see where there's more that can be burnt. But that's going to build a sweat very quickly when I start doing that. Any bunches of bananas growing? Oh yeah, there's a small bunch. Another bunch there before long too. There's another bunch. Probably more around if I open my eyes. There's more papaya. Looking more sparse out there for some reason. I think must have harvested the corn. But yeah, well, the genset's running and the pressure accumulator's draining. I need to go and open the green valve at the pressure accumulator end. Well, I brought the fork out and had a bit of a poke around with this, but it's too wet and heavy and tangled for me to do anything with. In the meantime, Dadang was here and picked some of the bananas I filmed just a short time ago. So they're tiny, but I think the smallest ones we got in Australia were ones we knew as ladyfingers. The little ones here go smaller than that. But years ago, back in about 1994 when I was in Indonesia for the first time, my colleague told me that oh yeah, we have about 400 different varieties of bananas in Indonesia. So, okay, we get about 2 in Australia, maybe 3. This is finished draining, so I'll go and shut everything down now and turn the pump back on. Quick check of the fuel gauge. We've still got more than 3/4 of the tank, so I don't think I need to bother filling anything. It's another mostly quiet week this week. We're already up to Wednesday. Yesterday I actually took that board off this back door and narrowed it down so I could screw it back on with more clearance at the sides, so that actually closes better now rather than binding. I also took the opportunity to tighten up this the bolt that holds this arm on here. You can see it's already loose. I put Loctite on there, so it loosens for some reason. I think it must be because they've got this misaligned, so it wants to twist. So yeah, that's not one I put on. So don't know what the future holds there. Might have to swap that for the one that's in the storeroom, which doesn't really need to be there, and see what that does. It's screwed on rather than pop riveted, so I can replace it easy enough. I brought back the car fridge from over here in the shed because that was brought over to provide cold drinks to the team when they come to work on this, which doesn't look like it happening anytime soon. So I was going to take the car fridge and contents back to the lounge room and restock that fridge, but as Richard might have pointed out, this freezer doesn't freeze but it cools, so we're down at, it started at 23 about 10 minutes ago, it's down to 16 now, so maybe it'll cool down enough to be okay for the drinks. If not, they'll come back to the lounge room. But yeah, that's where we're at. Well, it's Thursday, time to go over and drain the pressure accumulator again. Well, this is interesting. This freezer here says minus 9.5. So that means that these things technically should be solid, but no, that's not solid. So, well, that one is. So, okay, some things do freeze solid. Interesting. So, yeah, it's funny that in the weeks it was turned off, it doesn't seem to have lost more gas. But yeah, it's definitely low on gas. I swear you just about see this rice growing. It's no wonder they can get 2 crops a year off it. Having resolved the issue of the gap at the bottom of the door, now I realise I need to deal with the gap at the side and across the top. So, yep, gonna have to put my thinking cap on for those. Someday I'll have to wander out there amongst those plants and use the app on my phone for identifying plants to find out which ones are my cocoa and coffee plants. Because I've got a couple of cocoa trees in there apparently. What I want to do is have a go at making chocolate. There's all sorts of things on YouTube about how to do that. But that and have a go at roasting a bit of my own coffee while preparing and processing and roasting my own coffee. YouTube is wonderful for learning new things. We're off to Jakarta today, and after 2.5 hours we've made it to the toll road. So not long now. Well, here we are in the eye hospital in Jakarta after several hours of tests and more tests and waiting and tests. Coming in next Tuesday for cataract surgery. Oh, and there's my pharmaceuticals. Well, we left the hospital a few minutes ago and we're on our way to the next destination where I hope to get some cheese. And then it's home. But it's a bit after 5:30 on a Friday afternoon, so everybody's leaving town for the weekend, I think. So the traffic's not real good. It's not quite 6:30, we're on the way home. There'll be a restaurant stop on the way. Google Maps was highly optimistic, saying it would take 3 hours to get to home. But even without a restaurant stop, we wouldn't get there that quick. It was just over 4 hours to get to the hospital this morning, and we're 20 minutes towards home already from there. We're at our last toilet stop, and allegedly we're half an hour from home, but it may take a bit longer. Here we are about 11:15 at night on Friday night, just arriving home. Obviously I'm not going to get the video for this week out today. We'll carry on tomorrow. Well, here we are on Saturday morning, and the fridge is currently saying 2 degrees. It's plugged into the wall over there. Now, when we brought it in here last night and plugged it in, it said 15 degrees, which tells me that it had been unplugged in the car for some time, which was not ideal. This was sort of in the third row of seats. So I'm thinking that somebody in the middle row of seats might have sat on the cord and pulled it out at one end or the other. That's not ideal. The cheese that's in there has probably not come to any harm, but I had some frozen sliced smoked beef as well. And my original thinking was, well, okay, that's frozen solid. If I put that in here and it's held at 2 degrees, it won't thaw out a lot before I get it home. Well, at 15 degrees it was thawed. So as soon as I got it home, I put that back in the freezer. Not sure now whether that will kill me or not. Well, I guess we'll find out later. But yeah, I got a reasonable assortment of cheese. So there's probably about 3 kilograms of Gouda and Emmental and Edam and Tasty Cheddar and various others. A bit disappointing that I didn't have any blue cheese, or what I refer to as stinky cheese, which you sort of washed rind type cheeses. But apart from that, I've got some Bundaberg carbonated beverages in there. Don't like them. 4 packets of Ritz for having my cheese with later. I prefer Savoy, but yeah, they don't have that. They only have the Ritz, so deal with those. But yeah, that should be several months worth. But what I should do is see how much of this I can actually fit in the refrigerator over the corner, because on Tuesday we're going back to Jakarta. As I mentioned previously, I got cataract surgery on my left eye on Tuesday, so there's no reason why we couldn't go back and spend another stack of money at the ranch market that we went to. Perhaps not. Yes, I've got enough here to last me quite a while, so there's other things I need to go to Jakarta for at some stage, so perhaps I'll put it off until those are, well, I'll put off going back to Ranch Market until those visits. But there's another thing I need to do next Tuesday, if possible anyway, which might make time a bit tight. But yeah, well, that's enough for this video, I think. I'll just add this onto the end of what I've got and do an upload one day late.